I would like to welcome you all to the first Members Day meeting for the year 2022. Um, in today's agenda, as usual, we have the activity update, interest group update, the monthly presentation, and then we'll open up the forum for anybody who has questions to move forward with that. Um, Before we get started, I would like to take a couple of minutes to remember one of our esteemed members, an honorary life member of PSSL, Mr. Greta Kumar Chitti. Uh, we call him lovingly Chitti. So he's been a member of the society since early 60s. And during the 60s and 70s, he has won many uh, international competitions, and he had been an international competition judge for PSSL as well. Um, he was a royalist and a former student of the Law College of the University of Colombo. And by profession, he was a lawyer, and he worked in close association with the United Nations. He's known as one of the most valued law professionals the Sri Lanka has produced in the past few decades. So just wanted to take a minute to remember that he passed away a few days back. So wanted to take a minute to remember him. And at the same time, wanted to give a couple of special mentions. Nilan Herat, one of our executive committee members of PSSL, and the leader for the street and travel photography group. His father passed away late in December, and again, one of our members, Mrs. Or Dr. Mala Tudave, her husband Rohan Tudave passed away a few days back, and I want to remember them as well. So I request everyone to take 2 minutes to observe silence in remembering them and their lives and celebrating that. Thank you. Thank you all. So for joining with me and showing our last respect to those who have passed. Let's move on to the PSSL activities update. First off, would like to give a slight reminder to those who have not yet renewed your membership for 2022. We have currently a promotion going on that is valid till 31st of January 2022. So usually when you take the annual membership, it's 1,500 rupees plus the membership card is 500 rupees. So, but if you apply to get 3 years membership at once, that would be for 3,500 and save 1,000 rupees. An additional, you will save 1,000 rupees on the ID card as well, because otherwise you will be creating a separate ID card. Wanted to give you all a reminder on the PSSL Life membership. We are offering life membership under 3 categories. Life member category 1 is any ordinary member who is in good standing for 10 years and is not in arrears of the annual subscription for the relevant year in question. The category 2 is any ordinary member, an executive committee member who has served in the executive committee for total 5 terms and is in good standing, is not in arrears of annual subscription for the relevant year in question. Category number 3 is any ordinary member, executive committee member who is in good standing for 5 years, served in the executive committee for 3 terms with 1 year in the post of president and is not in arrears of annual subscription for the relevant year in question. So the payment for the PSSL Life membership is 15,000 rupees. This is a reminder to those who are interested in pursuing that. We wanted to give a reminder on the PSSL Photo Walk Season 8. This is exclusively for PSSL members. The team registration, you can get together in 3-member, 4-member teams and do a registration by 27th January 2022. The photo walk session will be starting on 30th January 2022. Starting time is 6:30 a.m. We are starting from Lionel Vent, the PSSL office. And you can contact Nilan. His mobile number is given here for more details. How the session is going to be. If you have not been part of photo walk before that, you can get more details from Nilan on how to take part in it. Capture This monthly photography competition 2022 is in progress, this is open to all the Sri Lankans, not only members of PSSL. The competition is being held under 5 sections: assignment, open color, open mono, wildlife and nature, and travel. So there are 15 medals on offer: gold, silver, and bronze for each of the categories, and there are cash prizes involved as well. And following each month's submissions, we have a monthly open judging session where you can come and receive feedback and enhance your understanding of photography as well. So if you need further information on this, you can visit our website for more details, rules, and guidelines. So for the month of February judging, the deadline for the submissions ends on 31st of January 2022. The current theme is high speed. If you're interested, please do take part in it. Open judging session for the images submitted by the end of 31st of December to be judged in January under the theme of spiral light. The judging session will be on 18th January, Tuesday. That would be next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. That will be conducted via Zoom. A quick reminder on the PSSL YouTube channel. If you are not already subscribed, please go pay a visit to it. You will see a number of interesting sessions that had been conducted in the past, certain activities that we conducted, recorded sessions of these. It will help you elevate your understanding of photography, and it will help you get a sense of what has been happening in the society for the past months or so. Just a reminder on PSSL blog. Again, this is something we are trying to promote among our members. If you're someone who knows how to do creative writing, if you want to share some words or thoughts on certain photographs that you had taken or a certain photographic excursion that you had taken, you're welcome to take part in the blog. So if you are interested, send your write-up to blog@pssl.lk, and this is a moderated site to maintain quality, but we are happy to assist you in getting one of your articles published. The PSSL image gallery is open and live. So if you are interested, please visit gallery.pssl.lk, and this is for those who are registering within the next 2 months. The registration fee is 500 rupees. If you're interested in taking part in it, contact Ruvini at the PSSL office. Or if you don't have her contact details already, they are now here. Just give her a call, get the details, and you will get to know how you can join and take part in the gallery as well. We will move on to the PSSL interest groups and the update from each group. This month, I have received updates from 2 groups. In case if any other group leader would like to add anything, I'll open the space once we are done with these 2 groups. First is the PSSL Street and Travel group. The monthly meeting is to be held on 26th January 2022, 6:30 p.m. via Zoom. So this time it's a member presentation by Anuradha Bandara on travel photography in Panama and Anuradhapura. So if you are interested, if you have seen Anuradha's work, this would be a good opportunity to listen to the artist himself, hear what he has to say about how he creates with his camera. The next update is something that I have been teasing the Fashion and Glamour group for a while on WhatsApp, and I've been teasing them on Facebook. This is the big announcement that I wanted to bring to you today. So the group that was formerly known as the PSSL Fashion and Glamour Group, this group is being relaunched with a new focus as the PSSL Portrait and Glamour Group. So this change is expected to be a part of an initiative to rebrand and reorganize this group and bring more engagement to them and create more learning opportunities to the group and allow a wide number of members of PSSL to who are interested not necessarily in fashion and glamour, but more in portraiture to also take part in the activities of this group. This relaunch would include more learning opportunities, more practical sessions, more discussions and reviews. So we will continue to provide you with a plan for the coming months of what events we are planning to have and how we are going to further your understanding of portrait and glamour photography. As the very first event of this group, since its relaunch as the Portrait and Glamour Group, we are planning to have a Candlelight Portraiture session. This is an experimental session with candlelights, continuous LED lights, colored gels, and maybe a gold reflector to create and capture a dramatic portrait of a female model. So this session is going to be conducted by Gayan. Mr. Gayan. So he's going to be conducting this. Date is 30th January. This is a Sunday in the evening, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. At the PSSL Lionel Wendt premises. This is free of charge. Anyone is welcome. It's not only for the group members. Anybody interested in taking part in this session, actually trying hands-on, taking photographs, you're welcome to join in and experience a new way of enhancing or improving your photography by creating a learning culture within the group. Thank you. And moving on to the monthly presentation. This is the first monthly members meeting of this 2022. And for this year, we wanted to start the year by bringing you a very interesting and very special presentation by Ms. Kuntala Roychoudhury. She's our guest speaker here. She's an avid nature lover and a wildlife photographer. So she's currently pursuing a PhD in law and also working as an assistant professor in Law College in Assam. So she's passionate about wildlife and conservation of it and teaching and photography. So she has been doing workshops around across India, and we managed to get her invited to join one of our sessions and walk us through and show us what interests her in nature and wildlife. So Kuntala, if you're free, we can get started.
Yeah, sure. First of all, I would like to thank your club for inviting me for this presentation today. Actually, I'm really sorry for not being able to attend that last scheduled session due to my ill health, but I'm so glad that I'm here today with you all. So my thing is. mostly my interest is in nature photography. Nature, it includes both wildlife and macro photography. But with this photography, I always try to contribute towards the conservation of the nature. So like through actually my background is academic background is law, and like this photography is my passion. So with this both, I always try to, contribute a little bit towards whatever I can, whatever is in my hand, towards this conservation of the nature and like wildlife, etc. So today's presentation will be basically based on nature conservation, and how photography can help, or the photographers, how they contribute, how they can contribute in protection and preservation of nature. So we'll speak a little bit about this. I'll not take much time, but like because I like cannot sit for hours because due to my this spondylitis issue. So that's why like okay, so let me allow me to share my presentation. Only this I'm not getting this option for sharing my presentation. Only host can share in this meeting. Can you please allow me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to allow you now. Can you see now?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So the topic itself, it's photography for nature conservation. Actually, this slide I made it for a workshop. It has so many slides. I will skip some of this slide. Photography, like before starting this, actually all of you like already aware of this, but still I want to like discuss for myself, because like why we need to have a balanced nature, or why nature conservation is important, and how nature photography can contribute towards this. I like to discuss a little bit of this with one very specific example. uh, uh, can you see my photographs? Because my net is not that strong, and I don't know whether like you are being able to see the photograph.
We are seeing a flock of
Okay.
birds.
Yeah. Okay. So like I would like to start with the one example that happened in India in like 1986 or 85. Like suddenly what happened, this crop production, the food production, this crop production decreased in Mumbai, in the state of Mumbai, in the state of Maharashtra, so much that like people there become scarcity of food. So this government, they wanted this one NGO, Bombay Natural History Society, they requested this NGO to conduct a research why this food production is becoming why is this food production is decreasing day by day, why it's like what could be the reason behind this. They conducted the research, and what they find out that the frogs and the birds which are living in the paddy fields, in the crop fields, where the farming fields, they are being killed or being exported to another country for consumption. So this number of frog has been reduced so drastically, and like you can see no frog around the paddy fields. Okay, so as we all know, they eat the pest, harmful insects and all, the frogs. That's how the crop production is dependent on what this these frogs and the birds also, because they consume they eat this like the harmful pests and harmful insects. And if these birds and these frogs are they are not there in the paddy fields, then what will happen? your crop production will automatically decrease because they are in a natural system. They acted as natural pesticide. So like that's how we can understand this, how natural food production, human beings, mankind, everything is dependent on each other. Why frog is so important. And that's how after this incident, what happened in these frogs, they have been inserted as an protected species under this Indian Wildlife Protection Act. In the same case of this bird, you can see in this photograph here also, this a flock of birds. They are staying in these paddy fields. They are eating this harmful pesticides and all. But if we kill them, if people kill them for consumption, for decoration, or for petting them, in that case, what will happen? Like it will automatically, decrease or degrade the natural, ecosystem balancing. And I think with this example, it's like, I think it's very important to know all these things, especially photographers can help in making people aware of this kind of things with their photographs. So for example, this photograph, if you see, if you do not explain anything, it's just a flock of bird, but if we make people understand how this flock of birds are helping this crop production and food production, then people will understand why we need to conserve nature. And I think this, like, if you like want to make people understand, make people aware of this nature conservation, only the classroom, talks, seminar, conferences, they are not enough without photographs and videographs. Because photographs and videographs, they have a tremendous impact on people's mind, especially the small kids. And also I think nature photographer can help, try, at least they can contribute a lot in making people aware of this, how important these spaces are. And so today, like, we'll discuss some of this. These are just photographs I like. These are nowhere related to this. Okay, so this intentional and unintentional accident that can harm nature. Yes, like with photograph has an evidential value. We all know this. Suppose this kind of photograph, I have taken these photographs from Google and some other persons also, just for the sake of this presentation, because like I stay a bit far from my home and my laptop is not with me, and my photographs are there in my laptop, and this like iPad, I do not have the photograph, so I had to borrow this photograph from Google and other people also. So for example, this kind of photographs, it can tell how this forest burning or this kind of things have impact in the natural habitat. We can use this kind of photograph to make people aware. For example, this one, if you see somebody this type of photograph, people will feel bad. People will feel bad how this, trees are being, removed from the places. And if you try to understand with this photograph that how a tree, forest can help in reduction of pollution, in keeping the climate is in a very good state, then I think people will understand a bit. So, for example, there is a problem, especially in Assam or India, is a man-elephant conflict. Okay, so there is this. This photograph has been taken by one of my friends, Rahul Barua. He's from Assam only. So, like man-elephant conflict, why man-elephant conflict are increasing in India, in all over India? I am not aware about the other places in the world, but in India, this problem is increasing day by day. And in every year, so many elephant and so many human lives are being killed, being vanished due to this man-elephant conflict, because we are cutting forest, we are cutting trees like this, we are making their habitat like this. They have no food, no shelter, and so they they are forced to come out to the human resident. And we, the human being, we like we also do not care. Like we see, you can see in this photograph how these people are going after this elephant, chasing the elephant. Elephants are, they are very powerful, very strong, but these people, without thinking of their life, without thinking anything, they are chasing the elephant, and as a result this type of things can happen. Like these elephants are like, see, chasing the humans back. And in these cases, what happens generally, the elephant, one person cannot kill one elephant, but one elephant can kill so many people, like this. So if you see, if I capture, if somebody, some photographer captured this kind of events, this kind of photograph, then we can at least make people aware that this type of things what we are doing against the nature, against the wildlife, is ultimately harmful for us only. It's ultimately harmful for the mankind. Okay, so uh, for example, another example, this photograph. I captured these photographs here in my, in my city, Guwahati. It's in Assam. Uh, you can see this is a dump yard. All the garbages of the city are being dumped here, and you can see it's like a this kind of this photograph. It's a, like they are the, these are the heels made by this garbages. Okay, these are garbage heels, garbage, you can see this, and it's full of plastic. These heels are of garbages only. It's man-made heels of garbages, and it's full of plastic. And you can see here in this photograph, it's a greater adjutant stock, which is in India, it's a red listed species, it's endangered. And I think in all over India, only here in this place, this greater adjutant stock are found. And sadly, they have no habitat, they have no natural habitat. They are being fed on the dumping ground. Okay, it's a very sad thing. You can see several species in the photograph. This greater adjutant stock, this egrets, the dog, and there are some other birds also, birds, cows, etc. There are several species who are being, fed on and live on this dumping ground. It's very sad. And with these photographs, what we can do, these photographs we can use for the purpose of improving this type of, situations. A case has been filed against this, introducing this kind of photographs, because the judges or the court, they won't come and see what is really happening in this place, like this dump yard and all. But we can convince, with this type of photograph, we can convince them that the situation is really bad. The situation is harmful for not only for human beings, but also for these kinds of species, because this is the greater adjutant stock, is the, it's endangered species, and we need to protect this kind of species. And like after seeing this kind of situations and this kinds of photograph, recently the court ordered the municipal corporation to shift this dump yard to another place. Okay, but this shifting process has not yet been started, but like it has been ordered to shift this dump yard to another place, because this dump yard is adjacent to one Ramsar site. That is one wetland which is very, huge wetland called Diporbil. Okay, so that's how it's very harmful. And after seeing these kinds of videos and photographs, the authority have been convinced that yes, this situation is really going towards a very, it's really decreasing, and we may lose these kinds of endangered species. And also it may affect the health of the general public because a wetland is there nearby and it will ultimately pollute those water. Okay, and it will ultimately lead to health uh, hazards. Okay, so this kind of photograph we can use for this purpose. I have taken this photograph from Google. So we use plastic, right? I have taken this kind of photograph for Google. Plastic, this kind of like artificial things we just throw away somewhere in the sea, in the water, in everywhere, and see how this our behavior, our
So as we wait for her to join back, just wanted to see if anybody has any thoughts on the presentation so far. I know because this is an interesting topic that we have been having multiple discussions even in the EXCO discussions.
Yeah, this is Laya here. Yeah, we have
Yeah.
had multiple discussions on this subject, and I think it is a very important subject in my opinion. That trying to actually highlight some of the issues, environmental issues through photography. But what I'm not sure is that as PSSL, for example, right now, what's the stream that we have, and in general in photography, do we have streams to kind of highlight these kinds of things through storytelling? I mean, basically, we are looking at the photographs from only from the photographic quality point of view. But is there a mechanism to bring these kinds of things? Because that's photojournalism to some extent.
It is, isn't it? Like building a conversation around the photographs that are captured.
Right. I mean, we keep on saying that the photograph should have a story, but I mean, here we are talking about a specific story, and how do we actually bring that about through a forum such as the PSSL?
True.
Not sure.
I think some of our wildlife group.
Guys, Kuntala is still trying to reconnect. There's something wrong with the Zoom. So yeah, she's still trying to reconnect.
Oh.
Yeah, please carry on with your discussion first.
So she was mentioning that she had some connectivity issues as well.
Yeah. Please continue with your side discussion first.
Sure. I think, Laya, you have a point there. Like even so, we have any wildlife group members. Maybe they can also chime in on the conversation.
I think that Kuntala is actually bringing out the bigger picture. Like, I mean, there's one of the things that the very first photographs that she put the disappearance of frogs. I'm sure they must be sending to France. They're the ones who eat that stuff. So it's a good export opportunity. But in Sri Lanka, I think in the olden days, even now, I witnessed that in Hambantota, that in all paddy fields that there is an area that is reserved for the birds. It's called I think in Sinhala called kemak. But I mean, the whole idea there is actually the birds are a necessary thing, but at the same time you have to strike that balance. But how do you take a photograph of that? I think a blog would be a very interesting medium to actually get these kinds of things across, because it actually allows open discussions on any subject.
Maybe a single photograph might not be able to tell the whole story, is what you're saying. Yeah?
Definitely not. Definitely not. And then one has to have a fairly deeper understanding of the nature and the eco-balance systems to get a photograph to talk about it. But I think that as photographers, we do have a responsibility.
True. I think an associated article would help understand the context. Like, for an example, the fact that there is a separate area reserved for the birds. If we just capture that with some birds feeding on it, people would be like, what is this? If they don't have that context, that there's a reason behind it, why it was being done over generations as a tradition. Yeah.
Right. I think elephant man conflict. I mean, she was saying that this happens in India. She should go around Sri Lanka. And who has actually captured that element of it as photographers? Of course, most of the time the photographers are not there when the elephants actually come and trample the field. But,
I know.
I see the need, but I'm not sure. I don't see the kind of mechanism.
The need is most certainly there. I agree with you, Laya. It's just that don't know whether we have the right channels identified or whether we have the right forum to give an impactful message.
Okay, she's still trying. She's going to try one more time.
Sure.
Here's the problem of technology.
Yeah, technology is.
At the critical moment, it goes away.
Exactly. Could you imagine I was trying to conduct my classes online and then the connection was so bad.
Absolutely, yeah.
But now it's fine. Now it's totally fine. When it happened during when I was in quarantine, and the Wi-Fi network at the hotel was really bad. Oh.
Sandeep, Sam here.
Yes, Sam.
I need to step out for a moment, but before I go, can I just answer Laya's question? Laya, the WNPS, the Wildlife and Nature Protection Society,
right?
I believe would have the responsibility in doing what we were discussing earlier.
Yeah.
And maybe they are the forum that should be looking at it, and they are probably the forum who are doing it as well. And I know for a fact that Sumit Bandar, who was here at the beginning of this meeting, has on his own done a fair amount of such videos and photographs of animals or birds being affected due to the callous behavior of humans.
Yeah, so, that's Sam. We were actually talking about it, and I think basically my point was that are you a member of the Wildlife and Nature Protection Society?
No, I'm not a per se a wildlife person, but I do admire the nature and the wildlife photography. So
yeah.
Huh? What did you do?
Yeah, so anyway, I'll try and come back in about 10 minutes time. Just
okay, good.
With me. I'll rejoin. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the point that Sam is making is a very critical one. I mean, basically what we were talking about the other day at the Expo was that see whether we can actually find members of the two societies who are avid photographers who can actually present stuff now. Sumit obviously is one. But maybe there are other people who are affiliated with that particular society or societies, and who can also contribute here in terms of photographic journalizing.
Yeah, to build that link between those two entities.
Yeah. Because that's precisely what they are trying to do. So either some of us actually must get into those and be active photographic members, or we should actually promote some of them to become members of the PSSL.
Okay, guys, Kuntala is trying to send me her PPT file, and then I'll try to flash for her, and hopefully she can communicate through WhatsApp. I hope you guys can hear her through WhatsApp.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Sure.
Kuntala, can you say something? See if the guys can hear you from WhatsApp.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to everyone because I think due to this net connection, I'm not being able to just reconnect this, enter into this meeting. It's so my condition, like, I'm so sorry for this. I'm trying to send Vincent my PPT so that he can show you and like, I can like speak through his WhatsApp. But still it's, PPT is also not being uploaded. Like,
Can you guys hear her?
Yeah,
We can hear
like
you very
she's-
well. Yes.
It's as if she's in the call itself. Yeah, it's very clear.
Ah, okay, cool. Now we are just waiting for the PPT to be sent to me, and then I'll flash it for her. So cool, they can hear you. You can talk now.
okay.
You can talk now.
Okay. Yeah. So like, let me try to send my PPT again. Okay. Draft.
Vincent, when I made you a co-host of the meeting, so when you receive the PPT, you can present it.
Ah, okay, sure.
Okay, that's a good idea. But like, I'm so sorry everyone for this. Actually, I'm not at home these days. I'm far from my home, and I do not have Wi-Fi here. That's the problem. I'm connecting with using my hotspot from mobile. That's why. Sorry for that.
Can you guys hear her?
Yes, Vincent. Yeah, we could hear her.
Okay, good. It's clear, right?
It's very clear. Yeah.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, it's uploading.
It's uploading. How big is the file?
But it's very slow. Please continue discussing whatever you were discussing, and I will let you know once it has uploaded and can send, please.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Kun, why not you share with us something about the law and conservation and photography? So while we are waiting, you can just share a bit more for us.
Yeah, there are laws. Yeah, that's true. But there are international instruments also under which like this Rio Declaration. Because if I speak about Indian laws, then like other people as from other countries. So there are international instruments which barred us or which restrict us for utilizing or over exploiting these natural resources like wildlife and other natural resources and deforestation, etc. Like this Rio Declaration, Agenda 21, sustainable development, all these are related to this. But I must say this. See, Vincent, can you see this? Unable to attach.
Oh yeah, probably the file is too big and the connection is not good.
Perhaps
it's really poor. But here from this mobile, it's like it's good. So like if you see these international laws, there are so many laws, so many conventions, which are like this. All the countries are parties to these conventions. We have fundamental duties to protect the nature and wildlife. All these things are there. All the laws are there. But in spite of having laws, we are losing our, not only in India, but in everywhere, I guess, just like we are losing our wildlife, our forest, our like natural resources, and due to which this climate is changing, and this effect is like very, you can see the effect of this negative effect of this climate change.
Sorry, Kun. I'm going to improvise. I'm going to show my phone screen on my video.
Oh.
So
yeah, true.
No, it's too bright.
My God.
It's too bright.
Kuntala, in the meantime, can I suggest something? This is Laya here. Can I suggest something?
Yes, sure.
Sure. Okay. So one of the things that you can probably talk about is that as a photographer, what you are saying, I think we were just talking about earlier. How do we make it a practical reality as photographers to ensure the conservation of the environment? I mean, how do we show through one photograph or two the actual nature and what we can do from a very practical point of view? Can you talk about that?
Yes.
So what would be your mechanism or the channel, if you like, as a photographer, as a conservationist, to actually bring that element to the public's eye through photographs?
Yeah, sure. Well, let me share this. Actually, as a photographer, we are also damaging the nature into some extent as a nature photographer, because inside a forest or inside the nature, we are outsiders, right? We evade their territory, we disturb them, we distract them with our photographic activities. For example, I'm a macro photographer. Okay, so a macro photographer, like this type of pictures, a macro photographer can, capture while, using this macro lens. But as a macro photographer, it is required for me to, use the external speed light or flashlight. Okay, so how I'm damaging the nature with this kind of activity? Suppose this flashlight or the speed light, it is very high intensity of light. Okay, and macro, they are small insects, small birds, like small butterflies, small insects, small organisms, and like ants, caterpillar, etc. They have very thin skin. Their skin is very delicate. Their eyes are very delicate. So if, as a macro photographer, if I try to capture them for just to have a very good photograph, if I use the flash repeatedly, firing on their eyes, their skin repeatedly, I will ultimately damaging or destroying their habitat as well as their health. How? Because the intensity of that flashlight can damage their skin, can also have a possibility to damage their eyes, and also the small their this nestlings and all. So as a photographer, it's my responsibility not to capture or not to fire flash on this type of insects and small organism repeatedly. If I fire my flash in a very repeated way, then it will ultimately damage this particular species, insect, and like ultimately we are damaging their habitat. So what can I do while capturing macro photographs? We can always use flash diffuser, so that the flash diffuser, it lowered the intensity of the light, so that this damage, we can lower the damage by that way. And also I recommend not to fire the flash repeatedly on the same subject just for the sake of having a good photograph. Yeah, I have seen there are so many photographers like who just capture one, suppose they capture something from the wild, they come to home and they build a studio setup where it will look like it's like real jungle or real habitat, but they keep them they freeze them, they apply some liquids on them so that their body gets freeze, and they place those insects or those organisms in the position as they like to do. Okay, in that way, there are so many photographers who are damaging this natural species, this natural insects or individual species. Okay, so what we can do as a photographer, we should spread awareness among our fellow photographers or among those who are the newcomers. We can teach them not to use this kind of methods just to get a good photograph. Suppose what we should not do actually as photographer, then I will also speak about what can we do in conservation for nature, but what we should not do, it's also important. Like suppose I have seen so many birders or bird photographers. They use this recorded playback sounds of the bird just to attract the bird. Okay, recorded playback sounds. If I play a recorded playback sound of a male bird in the breeding season, then the female bird will get attracted to it and may come out from its habitat to a very, whatever we like to invite her, and then we capture a good photograph without understanding how it is damaging their natural process of breeding. Because if the bird comes out to this space, she may lose the opportunity to meeting the actual male bird who supposed to call her into the other place for breeding purpose, for nesting purpose, and in that way we are hampering their whole nesting, whole breeding process. So we are actually, by this kind of activity, we are actually preventing or to hampering a new generation of the species of birds. So this kind of things the nature photographers always try to do, just for the sake of getting a very good picture, getting fame, getting name, and getting awards. But personally, I would like to request everybody, I always do this, I always request my fellow photographers, my newcomers, my students, not to indulge in this kind of activities that can damage the whole the individual species or their habitat. So this kind of thing we should refrain ourselves from doing. And also, how can we contribute through our photographs, what I do or what we can do with the photographs? Suppose this photograph, you cannot see this photograph, right? You cannot see now, Vincent?
No, can't see.
They can see.
They cannot see. You can do
you cannot see. Okay,
yeah.
fine.
Unless you take a screen,
I will explain.
If you take a screenshot for me, I can share it to the Zoom.
Okay, I will explain. So, I have captured some photograph of golden langur, which is an endangered species in India, and the golden langur, the babies.
Cool. You can take a screenshot for me. I can share to the group.
Screenshot.
Yeah, send to me in WhatsApp. Send to me in WhatsApp. I can send to the group. Yeah.
Okay. Wait. I will send the picture from. I will take picture and I will send to you.
Send to me in WhatsApp. Then I will share to the group.
Yeah, sure. Just shared. 2 photographs I have shared.
Okay. Download this. Okay.
Suppose
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna figure out how to send the photo. Okay. Carry on.
Okay.
I'll figure out this. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the photograph of a capped langur. Okay. This baby capped langur, this is one of the endangered species in India. So like this capped langur has been captured in a resort. Okay, in a hotel, a resort, for showcasing it to the public. Okay. They are tied up like this. Okay, tied up with like threads like this, and for the purpose of circus and all. So what I did, I captured the photographs because I carry my camera most of the time because I'm very passionate about like my photography. So I try to carry my camera whenever it is possible. So like I had the zoom lens, so I just capture one from a far distance so that they cannot see me capturing the photograph. If they see me capturing this kind of photograph, then there is a chance to get like aware and like they will escape the situation. So I captured this photograph and send it to media and send it to this forest officers with this evidence. As evidence, I send the photograph and inform that this kind of things are going on in this particular resort, and they took action of the like they released they talked to the owner. They had some conversation with the owner. They imposed some fine, and the forest officials, and they released the baby cap langur into the forest again, because the whole family of this cap langur was there nearby watching their baby to from a far distance. Okay, so they released the baby with them. So I think a photograph have a tremendous evidential value. If I call someone and tell them that this kind of things are going on here, they may not believe in me. They do not have any, if I do not have any proof, they may not believe in me. They may not take action immediately without having any proof, without just a phone call, just a phone call, they may not, take action. But if I produce an evidence in the form of photograph, I can at least, ask them or request them to take the action immediately because I have the proof. Okay, so this kind of thing as a photographer we can do. We can prevent, or you can refrain ourselves from harming the nature by not doing some kind of thing. Already spoke about this recorded bird call. Please, I always request everyone, please do not use the recorded bird calls, because I know this is not a scientifically proved thing that recorded bird calls will 100% hamper a species of bird. But the research is still going on. But if we use our common sense, then obviously we can understand that obviously this kind of activities hamper their nesting behavior, their hormonal changes. Of course, if I play one recorded bird call, I do not know what this call means, but the bird of the same species will obviously know what this kind of call mean. Okay, so it may mean different for them also. It may lead to their, it may lead to a very stressful situation. It may lead to unnecessary hormonal changes, and it may also lead to the total breeding process and total behavioral system of that individual species of bird. Again, same case it may happen in baiting. Here in India, baiting is a crime. This is also using a recorded bird call. It's considered as baiting. And also there are several kind of other methods of baiting where a photographer, what they do, they bait the wild animal. They make them greedy and like they capture just to capture some good photographs, but it will ultimately, bring some changes in their behavior, or make their habit a bit difficult. Okay, so we should refrain from doing this type of things like use of flash. We should not, use the flash repeatedly. We should not, damage their habitat. It's like I have also seen there are some photographer, even me, I also follow this ethic. I do not break a simple leaf also just to clear my background, just to make the situation or orders total my frame good. I do not do anything. If I get a good picture within the natural habitat, then I'll be satisfied. I will try to capture a good picture in their actual natural habitat. Otherwise, I do not bring any change to their natural habitat, because I respect their territory, I respect their habitat, I respect their behavior, everything. And I think it's very important for every nature photographer to respect their subject and their behavior and their habitat. So this kind of things we should always follow. So I think I'm being able to answer your questions.
Thank you. That was very good.
Yeah. There are like I think I do not know who asked the question, but thank you for asking this, and I hope I could answer properly.
Yes, it was Laya here. Thank you. Thanks, Kuntala.
Yeah, my pleasure. And like this kind of, I'm not being able to show my slide, but like thing is this, like we do not actually, as a nature photographer or as wildlife photographer, we do not think about all these things. We hardly think about all these things, but I think we should think about our subject's well-being first, then our photograph. One photograph is not that important than a life of the subject, I feel. Okay. If we continue doing this, and one day will come, because in this digital era, there are, I think there is photographer in every, family. There is at least one photographer in every family in this digital era. So if everybody, go into nature and like they capture these natural things by disturbing their habitat, by disturbing their behavior, then I think it will lead to a very, distracting or degrading situation. So I think we should make them aware about all these things, and with photograph we can actually make them aware, and also we can produce it as evidence in the court also. As a law student or a law scholar, I always like say to my people, my kids and my students, that as photograph have a tremendous evidential value, or video photograph along with videograph, because these judges who are sitting in the court, they cannot go everywhere to see what is going on there and how natural habitat is being distracted, and all these things.
So she was bringing out very interesting points, especially what captured my mind was the point about using flash or.
Okay, he's back.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
we
Kuntala, we can hear you.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what I had to say for today, because like I not being able to show my PPT also, and you may ask if you have any questions for me regarding this, anything to discuss, you may please ask.
First of all, Kuntala, thank you so much. I know there were so many difficulties in getting this session of today. With your
I'm extremely sorry for that. I'm extremely sorry for that. I mean, I really.
Yeah. So we are thankful, even with your medical issues, you still chose to come here and show us something. But unfortunately, the network issue got in the way. But the last few words that you added to this conversation was very thought-provoking. So I was personally engaged with some of the things you mentioned, especially about using speed lights or flashlights in macro photography, because I too have done that in the past, and over a period of time I slowly got away from it with just the thought that it's not worth disturbing these animals and the discomfort that it brings to them with a flash firing like few inches away from them. So using diffusers actually help, but I kind of chose to go with natural lighting. Sometimes with continuous lighting, felt like it was better than flashing a high-powered speed light.
Yeah. A continuous lighting is better than flashlight, because in macro photography, what I feel that like we have to go very closer to the subject. No, that's how we block the natural light actually. So it's a bit important to use the external light. But yes, we should use this continuous light with low intensity. I feel so. I think so.
If I may actually relate a story, I was actually trying to take some photographs of a bee going to a flower. And I must say that I was guilty of using a flash, a continuous flash to freeze the wings. I thought, oh, great photograph. But what actually happened was, after a while, the bee turned against me and was coming towards the light. So I had to basically get out of the way.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's a good point, actually, that you're saying. I was aware of that. I mean, the bird photographers also use flash sometimes.
Yes, even I have seen the bird photographers who captured a photograph of owls at the night, or this nocturnal birds at the night. They use very high intensity of flash, very high intensity of light in the night. And I think it will obviously disturb or damage their eyes also, which is not ethical.
Definitely. Are there laws actually from the ethical point of view? Like, I mean, you actually brought out this point about the elephant mankind conflict. I mean, this is big in Sri Lanka, because I think we've encroached into their land because of the population, and of course the balance has been actually disturbed somehow or another. Unfortunately, I haven't actually seen any photographers actually taking the real photographs of these conflicts, because often the photographers are not there. So what, from a law point of view, ethical point of view, as a law student, what do you suggest, and what do you think that it would be a solution here?
Yeah, actually, photographers, how can they help? Like, I have this showcase these pictures captured by Rahul Baruano. He captured this man-elephant conflict photographs, because he stays there in the nearby area where it is taking place every day. So with this kind of photograph, we actually produce this kind of photographs or videograph in the court. Okay, because why? And we can show the court that why this kind of big animals and why all this kind of animals are coming out to the residential areas. Why? Because we are encroaching into the forest areas. We are destroying the forest. We are cutting off the trees. The deforestation is going on. The exploitations are going on. That's why we throw our pictures of the cutting of the trees and the clearing of the environmental areas, these forest areas, and also elephants coming out, other animals coming out to the residential potential areas and having conflict with the mankind, we can through these videos and photographs, we can at least show and convince these courts and like other authorities like forest department and other authorities that this kind of things are going on in this place due to this kind of distraction, this forest cutting, this unplanned hill cutting, all this thing with a photograph we can show. And like I think yes, it has already happening in some places. They are being convinced and trying to take measures. Suppose for example, there is a place here, is a reserve forest here in Assam. It's called January Reserve Forest, where the golden langurs are found. The golden langurs in India, only this place, I think 2 places in India, golden langurs are found. Okay, so but people.
You dropped off. Okay, you're back.
Pardon?
Yeah. If you want to show any photos, just screenshot and send it to me.
Oh, I do not have the photographs right now with me. Golden langur. Yeah, I do not have this photograph in my mobile. It has in my iPad, but not my mobile. So this type of things are like I have seen this golden langurs and all. They are. Previously, what happened? People were not aware of this kind of situations. Okay, so what happened? They used to cut the trees, and in fact, these authorities, the electricity board and all, they used to put this naked electric wires inside those places, nearby those places, and though this endangered species got killed due to wire by electrocution. Okay, then the photographer started visiting that place, for capturing the golden langur. Okay, and they found this kind of species are being electrocuted with this negligent act in the part of the government department, the electricity board and all. Then they captured some of the photographers, local photographers. They captured those photographs to local authorities, and they sent it to the even electricity board. And with the photograph, they get convinced that yes, this type of things are happening. Nowadays, what happened? Every photographer, those who are aware of nature conservation, they do what happened. They whenever they get chance, they capture this type of photograph and immediately send it to the forest department to take immediate action. And with the photograph, forest department, the other department of the government, they just cannot deny the help. They are bound to provide help if they send this kind of evidences. Okay, so I think this way we can help towards the nature conservation.
I just noticed that on this image, this animal is already being electrocuted. No, it's even the smoke is coming out.
In Sri Lanka, the monkeys have actually learned how to sit on this naked the wires and without getting electrocuted. I have seen them. Actually, it's interesting that they learn how not to touch two wires together.
Yeah. There are because I think those are not naked wire. I think. Now here also this electricity board, they have installed this plastic coated electric wires everywhere. Previously, naked electric wire was being used in some places.
Oh yeah,
I think
the smoke.
I think in the past, early morning, if like in Colombo even, right? I remember seeing crows and birds that got electrocuted, but we don't see it anymore, probably because these are all insulated wires that are not really open to that kind of electrocution. Could be that.
I think they're all using insulated wires now.
Yeah. Nowadays, these are using those insulated wires.
Often what you were seeing was the bats. They're hanging from one wire and getting electrocuted by touching the other. Now the thing is that, what a photograph like this will never win any competition. That's a fact.
Because I think
if it's a photojournalism photo, there's a chance that you will win a competition. I mean, an award in the competition. Perhaps not in salon, but in other competitions, like purely photojournalism, they might have a chance to win an award. Well, of course, the quality of the photo is not there. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. That definitely.
Yeah, but the part where it shows the smoking is quite amazing. Can you check your WhatsApp? I just showed you the photo I shared with the group.
Sure.
You can see the photo, yeah. Yeah, the timing of this particular photograph is quite interesting. Because the smoke
this is the golden langur, right?
Yeah, it's a golden langur. And look at the hand. The hand is smoking.
My God.
Burning.
I think despite all the difficulties, we somehow had a very interesting conversation. Kuntala and Vincent, thank you so much for your time and the effort that you put in to help us with this session. So before we wind up, for the interest of the members who are still part of this presentation, we will be having our next monthly meeting on the 8th of February. So we will be bringing you another session, another discussion with that. Do you have any other questions or comments to share with Kuntala, or are we in a position to wrap for today?
I'm supposed to be a participant.
Thank you, Vincent, for your help.
Welcome.
For rescuing me.
Coffee on you.
And it has been a very interesting. I think that it's certainly piqued my interest in this whole thing, and I think it gives some ideas. Thanks, Kuntala.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it added to an ongoing conversation that we were having, how we can contribute as a society to a more broader scope in wildlife and nature. Beyond photography, what else can we do through photography? So yeah, thank you so much. I wish you all the best and hope you have a speedy recovery, Kuntala.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you for bearing with this disturbed conditions. I'm so sorry again, and thank you so much for bearing, and thank you so much for inviting me.
I'm hoping that we would be able to connect in the future for more conversations and projects like this with the wildlife group as well.
Yeah, I'll be glad.
Thanks, Kuntala, and thanks, Vincent. Thank you so much. You joined as a participant, and then again, you helped us out with the session as well. So thank you all for those who took part in the session. Thank you, and wish you all the best for the rest of the year. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.